が消えかかるそれがオレンジャー熱い血流れる鋼のマシン
Welcome to the Super Sentai Brothers. This is episode 7 for Your Eyes Ohranger, the internet's best and only podcast dedicated to Chouriki Sentai Ohranger. Every week we watch an episode of the show, we share our thoughts with you, the listeners. My name is Matt J. With me as always is my co-host and brother Dave. Dave, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Sorry for the late record, guys. Man, we've just had so much.
Yeah, it
just so much stuff going on this week. Like weirdly,
a week.
Yeah, just like a great week. Like nothing's wrong. Everything's fine, guys. Just in case you were worried, it's just been a doozy of a week.
But we are here now, and we are prepared to record episode 7 of Chouriki Sentai Ohranger. Dave, that is complete Chouriki Robo. And I know that excites you because I know you love those giant robots.
They're the best thing.
But before we are able to get into that, Dave, first, our award-winning opening segment. Dave, Shining in the Heavens, there are 5 stars. And would you like to hear what our first star of the week is?
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, hit me with it.
Cool. I mean, the ball was already rolling, so we didn't have a lot of option, but I'm glad that you are happy to hear it.
So what, Matt, is our first star of the week?
Dave, first star of the week is, as is my wont, about once a month, I went to a gathering of the Pizza Club.
Oh, yeah, like-minded pizzianados.
Pizza enthusiasts?
I'm sticking with pizzianados, but go ahead.
No, that's good. It sounds more appropriate.
Pizzianados. That's how you have to say it.
And so we went out to this place in Lakewood called Harlow's. It's super good.
Okay.
It was sort of a last-minute switch.
Forgive me for interrupting you. How do you decide? Like, do you have a research contingent? Is there like one dude or lady that is in charge of Pizza Club that's like, I found the spot?
Generally speaking, so there's sort of a rotating group of about 10 people. There's like 5 or 6 core people, and then 4 or 5 sort of surrounding other people that sometimes show up. Who are part of like the sort of little private Facebook group.
Ancillary Pizza Club members.
And so there are enough of us that we all kind of keep our ear to the ground for pizza places we haven't been yet.
Okay.
Shortly after a meeting, someone will get on the group and suggest a new one, and then we'll sort of figure it out as regards schedules, like how we're going to do it. And so somebody had heard of this place that had just opened up in Lakewood. It's called Harlow's.
Okay.
And we had to do sort of like a last-minute switch because the place, we normally meet on Tuesdays, but the place that we were originally going to go is weirdly closed on Tuesdays, so we're just probably never going to go to it.
No, there's a couple places around town that, like, if it's like a small restaurant, if you don't want to be closed on the weekend, so they're open all weekend and then closed on Monday.
Yeah, but this is Tuesday. Anyway, that is not the point.
They want to get all that Monday traffic, Matt. For everybody else that's closed.
Here are the 2 things I want to tell you about this place. 1, weirdly, my favorite pizza there, because they only have 5 pizzas on the menus and do not allow substitutions.
Love it. These are artisans, Matt. Don't trifle.
One of those pizzas is a marinara pizza, which is just sauce and cheese and like a couple of basil leaves, and that is it.
I'm down, man. That sounds good. That is a.
I think that's like a super classic Italian thing.
I was gonna say that's a super Italian pizza. The pizza margherita is just like sometimes it's not, Matt, even sauce. Sometimes it's just like crushed tomato, like real crushed tomato, and then fresh mozzarella and basil.
Oh, Dave, I've had plenty of margarita pizza because...
Oh, yeah. Who am I talking to? You're like the president of pizza. Are you the president? I don't know.
No. I'm one of the founding members, but not the president.
Chairman of the board.
And so what we do, every place that we go, because I feel like everywhere we go has some variant on a margarita pizza. So that is our control pizza. Like, we always get that, and then we get other things as well, so we can sort of judge them against each other.
No, that's a really, really good idea. I use lasagna as my control dish at Italian restaurants.
That is also a good idea, but it would not necessarily work for a pizza club.
Well, no, you would need to start a whole new club.
A lasagna club. I feel like you would have a little bit more trouble with the lasagna club, to be honest.
Yeah, you probably would. But,
Anyway, so the marinara pizza was the best one on the menu.
Nice.
Which is very weird because the rest of the pizzas were also good, and I love cheese and other toppings, but for some reason, whatever they did
just
to
crushed
that
it?
sauce was out of this world. So,
oh, nice, good job,
team. If you live on the west side of Cleveland, check that out. Here's the other thing about this place: it's basically not decorated. It's sort of a new place, but it's not like a rock and roll pizzeria. It's not like a traditional weird Italian crap on the walls pizzeria. Mm-hmm. It's just sort of cleanly decorated. Somebody went to IKEA and bought some nice some sort of minimalist modernish tables. Some cans of tomato, big cans of tomato on a shelf somewhere.
Oh yeah. No, I know the ones, Matt. Listen, I love Swedish decor, Matt.
Oh sure.
I don't know if we've talked about this.
Yeah, but this is Swedish decor by way of American Italian decor, or
No, that sounds like the best. No,
Sure.
Man, I just Matt, I never would have thought about that until you said it. But now that you've said it, that sounds like a delightful environment.
It is. Here's the weird thing: when you walk in the bathroom at this place, it has a 6-foot poster of Skid Row. There is nothing else in this restaurant. You just walk in. It's okay, here you go. White tile walls, plain things. And then it's not like the bathroom is super decorated either. The bathroom also has basically no decorations, except for directly facing across from the toilet, there is a 6-foot poster of Skid Row. It was a surprise, but a delight.
Yeah, that's a lot of decor in your decor.
It's a lot of Sebastian Bach right up in your face.
Mm-hmm. Now, what era of 80s fashion are we talking? Basically, I guess my question is, how tight are these pants
The pants are very tight. The sleeves are very non-existent. Yeah. The hair is very big. The chains are very glittery.
Well, Matt, sounds like everything is in order vis-a-vis Skid Row for these guys. So,
but yeah, it was a good time. This is just a general recommendation and a checking in on what's up with Pizza Club. Dave, what is our second star of the week?
So our second star of the week, Matt, it's one of the reasons we were so busy this past weekend, it was the baby's birthday.
Happy birthday,
It was
babies.
The baby's birthday. Happy birthday, babies. They are asleep 2 rooms over, and I'm hoping they stay that way. Here's fingers crossed. It was their birthday party. They're a year old. These tiny sweet babies, Matt, they are a year old, which is crazy. They're walking around. They are saying words. They're, I don't think I told you this, but Buddy Bear put together a tiny sentence. Did I tell you this?
No way, no.
Dude, yeah. Little man put together a sentence, not a complicated one, but we taught him the sign language for more, which is just you sort of tap your fingers together. And we've been using it because dude likes to eat, which I get. Dude likes to eat. And so we taught him to say more instead of screeching like a pterodactyl when he wanted more food. That's happier for everybody. And he also really likes it when you turn the light on and off. That's one of his favorite games, is when the light just goes on and off. Subsequently, I need to get the switch replaced in one of my lamps because it's broken the switch because we turn it on and off so much. And so we taught him the sign for light, as to also avoid him screeching like a pterodactyl when he wants the light on. So we're no, this is how you tell us you want the light on. What he did, because he's brilliant, is that he put together that more can mean more than just food. It could just mean I want that thing. I want more of that thing. And so he did the sign for more, and then he did the sign for light. We weren't playing with light, and he walked up and went, more light. And I was like, what? What? You put together a sentence? It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I would say
babies,
that.
man.
These babies. So we had a birthday party, and it was really nice. A whole bunch of people came out. Family came in from out of town. We had a bunch of people from church, and a bunch of our friends came over. It was great. And people brought lovely presents. So if you were there, Thanks so much. Now, there was
was.
one present. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. If you are a listener of the show and you happen to have been there, because I know some people listen, thanks so much, guys. Matt, also, thank you. Now, there was one present. There was one present, Matt, that really stood out to me. And what this present was, is it was from some other friends of ours who also have a newborn. They have a 6-month-old. And they walked in with a bottle of 10-year-old single malt Ardbeg. Where I was like, that present is not appropriate for babies. And they're just like, those babies have tons of presents. And this party isn't really about them anyways. Because, like, they're not going to remember it. This party is for you guys and all of us to celebrate. And what is better than to celebrate with a 10-year-old single malt? So, thanks, guys. It's delicious. And, like, the box for it is super crazy. Yeah. So, it was the baby's birthday.
I should have thought of that. Because what I was trying to figure out, because I realized, I'm going to this birthday party for babies in, like, 4 days. And I have not bought anything for a baby, maybe ever, maybe since I was a baby, and like gifts were being bought on my behalf for other babies.
I was going to say, I still don't think you. Oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
You know?
Like, oh, Matt got this present. Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, like I don't think I've ever in my life actually purchased something for a baby, and so I was just staring at a blank Amazon screen, like, what do I buy a baby?
What do you buy a baby?
That's like I can think of what you buy like a 4-year-old, right?
Yeah, no, they're easy. You just, a sword or something, right?
Sure, but a baby, I was just typing into Google, like, what do you buy babies? What do babies do?
They don't do much. They're pretty much happy with anything. So they love
So I
books.
should have just thought about buying something for you guys, but alas.
That would have been fine too, Matt.
Well, Christmas
listen,
is coming around.
I was going to say, they're not going to remember stuff for literally, at least like stuff like this, for years probably. So, you still have opportunities, is what I'm saying. But if you do need advice, they love books. They love little board books. They go through them like beavers. They don't read them. They just gnaw through them until they disintegrate.
Just trying to consume the knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's how babies do it. So that, Matt, is our second star of the week. What is our third star of the week?
Dave, third star of the week is we have not actually recorded since just before Thanksgiving, or maybe just after. In any case,
you're right. Matt,
in the last week and a half or so.
I feel like it's starting to look like something, Matt.
Where?
Just, here, there, everywhere, really.
Just everywhere
I
you
would
look.
say. Everywhere you look, Matt.
Well, Dave, there may be a tree in the Grand Hotel. There may be one in the park as well, but there is also one in my apartment now. Got the tree set up, got it all decorated.
Oh, nice.
I got my tinsel, I got my lights, I got my garland, I got my little star. I actually have a secondary tree this year. I've got like my normal 6 or 7 foot real tree that I have to keep watering and sweeping up after. I also bought a little 3-foot fakey tree that I just keep up in my front window.
Nice.
I have also acquired a third little ceramic tree with the light bulb inside.
Love those.
It is a tree heavy apartment right now, Dave, and I am stoked.
Yeah, man, we actually have not had a chance to put our tree up. Well, okay, we've had a chance, but we haven't taken it because we are still strategizing about how to do the tree.
Yeah, how do you do trees with babies?
Yeah, how do you do trees with babies? I'm trying to figure out a way to just brace this bad boy so that they don't pull it down on themselves and kill themselves. Because that is a primary occupation of babies, is trying to kill themselves.
Sure.
But I am really excited about it because I love Christmas, Matt.
Oh, Christmas is the best, Dave. It's so good. And it's here now, basically. I mean, it's not today.
Dude, but it's a lot closer than it was in my head. That was a terrible sentence. But
we're sort of beyond the point where it's just store decorations, and now they're street decorations.
Right, I need to get some shopping done. I need to figure some stuff out for closing in on Christmas. The semester's almost over, which is crazy. I've only got 2.5 weeks of school left until break, which is just straight bananas. Time flies when you're having fun, Matt. And
it's also throwing me off because
all the time.
Because this year we started the season sort of late because Ohranger ran a little long.
Yeah,
and
that's
so I'm
true.
we're only 10 episodes into the season. That means it's middle of November. But that's not true. That's not a good way to keep time. I have calendars.
It's not a good way to keep time. Man, so, Merry Advent, I guess. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Advent to you. Happy Hanukkah. I think Hanukkah just started, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. Or, whatever you got.
Candle nights, I don't know. Do your thing. You do you. Just have a nice time, guys. Be excellent to each other. What, Matt? Oh, what is our fourth star of the week? That was a weird. I don't know. I was trying something out.
Hey man,
sometimes you just gotta.
It's the fourth year. We gotta change. We gotta evolve.
I was gonna say sometimes you just gotta throw it at the wall and see what sticks, Matt. I don't think that stuck at all. But I stand by my experiment. So what, Matt, is our fourth star of the week?
The fourth star of the week is, speaking of being excellent to each other, producer Mark was just recently very excellent to me. So it was like Cyber Monday, Black Friday weekend. And cool. A guy that he knows is an artist who was running sort of like buy a print, get a sketch for free special.
Oh, okay.
And so Mark wanted to support the guy, whose name is Jason, but I was looking at the print right before we started, and I could not find any other identifying information, or else I would give him a shout out. But he wanted to support the guy, but he thought that I would like the print and sketch more than he would.
Okay.
So what this means is that I now have a print that this guy did of the Iron Sheik, and
nice.
a original pen, and then colored with watercolors sketch of Jet Hawk from Jetman.
Matt, you need to tweet a picture of this thing because
I'm
eager to see it.
It's very good, and I'm very excited to find a place for it somewhere. I don't know if this is going to be a home office thing or a up in my cubicle thing, but I am very jazzed about it.
No, that's super, super cool, man. No, custom artwork is one of those things that I wish, I genuinely wish I had the money to be supporting artists in that way. I think it's a super cool thing that people do, and it's it just right now it's just not in my budget.
Yeah, dude, I wish I had the money to frame the stuff that I've got, because I have a slowly growing pile of things that just need to be hung.
Right, just flattening under books. I know the spot on your table.
Yeah. Look at my big heavy books. My Library of Shakespeare, my Oxford's Classical Dictionary, my weird coffee table book of Seurat.
Like you do. The books everyone has.
I happen to be looking at my shelf of oversized books right now. Just Wines of the World, the Atlas Major, Webster's University's Dictionary Unabridged.
Listen, Matt, as much as I would genuinely, in a weird sort of way, genuinely love to hear you run just through your full Deweys of oversized books, we are men on a mission, Matt. So let me ask you.
We are.
A question hangs in the heavens. What is our fifth star of the week, Matt?
Dave, our fifth and final star of the week is another thing I have recently acquired. And I know that it is weird to have recently acquired so many things before Christmas, but sometimes that's just how the world works. I bought, because it was on sale, and because I've heard so many good things about them, I bought one of those Instant Pots.
Did you get one of those Instant Pots, Matt?
Yeah, Dave, I got one of those Instant Pots.
What's up with the Instant Pot? Everyone loves these things.
What's the deal with these Instant Pots?
Yeah, this is getting a little Seinfeld, but
so I have heard it described as a weird magic kitchen tool. It's basically a pressure cooker that is also a crock pot that is also programmable.
Yeah, so I actually don't have. I was being slightly disingenuous for the sake of humor, and that's how you podcast, guys. I actually do have
tips.
Quite. Yeah, I actually do. It's not quite an Instant Pot. I have a very high quality knockoff.
Okay,
but it basically is an Instant Pot. It's the Aldi brand Instant Pot, which is oddly high quality. It works pretty well. But yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's a pressure cooker. It's a programmable pressure cooker that also has some other fancy bits. It functions as a rice cooker as well, Matt.
Dude, okay. This is what I want to talk about, because I feel like this thing is not just pulling double duty or triple duty. It is pulling I don't know. I don't know the word for 12 times. Duodeco duty?
Duodecuple duty.
Anyway, it's
That's
doing
a lot of
that.
duties for you.
It has settings for porridge. It has settings for egg. And I want to be clear. It has settings specifically for porridge. Now, you can extrapolate that out to, like, other, like...
Oatmeal or grits
stuff
or something.
But that's not what it says on the machine. On the machine, it's like,
an
hey...
unexpected delight, Matt.
Like, are you in a fairy tale? Have you stumbled into this world, into this kitchen, found this device, but the only food that you know is from children's stories? Then here you go. Here's the button that you press. There is another button on it, and I genuinely don't know what this means or how it's supposed to work in this thing. The button just says cake. And I am not a baker, but I don't know how I'm supposed to make cake in a pressure cooker. Like, I shouldn't be able to plug something into the wall, press a button, and come back later with a cake in a bowl.
Dude,
I guess I'll let you know.
You need to put ingredients in, Matt. It's not a replicator. Like,
hey, listen, man. I have
Earl Grey
heard
hot out
very
of
good
this
things
thing.
about this machine. It could do anything.
I hope that Instant Pot are the people who do eventually figure out replicator technology, and they just never change the name of it, and they just the more Instant Pot or like the truly Instant Pot, but it's always just those guys.
Right, and it's all and it can replicate those 12 things. You got eggs, you got porridge, you got cakes, you got stews, and welcome to Star Trek. That's what you got. That is also how you have it do like tea Earl Grey hot, but you can only do it like 6 gallons at a time.
Listen, Star Trek exists in a fantastical utopian, techno future, and in that utopian techno future, what foods do you need? Like, if they've figured out how to instantly replicate cake, they can figure out how to make cake meet all my nutritional needs, and I can just rock cake 24/7.
Oh, that is a good point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's listen, exploring distant worlds and seeking out strange, I'm actually quoting this correctly? Seeking out strange civilizations? That's well and good. But let's focus on domestic issues first. Domestic issue number 1, nutrition cake. That's not in a weird cake of nutrition. I just want healthy cake.
Well, I think we can do that, Dave. I think the technology is going to be there. But I'm also interested in talking about other technology. Specifically giant robot technology. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go take a break. We are going to watch episode 7, Complete, the Chouriki Robo, and we will be right back. Okay, welcome back. So, we have just finished watching Complete, the Chouriki Robo. Dave, did this giant robot fulfill all of your hopes and dreams?
Okay, so first of all, this is a pretty quality giant robot, but I just got beef with this episode very quickly, let me say. It's nothing actually to do with the episode itself. Episode was fine.
Is it the opening that hits just before the intro?
Yep, it sure is. Okay, so guys, the very first thing that they show us in this episode is the giant robot.
Yeah, so every episode up until this point, the opening 5 seconds is the show announcing hey, robots are coming to Earth. These 5 people are going to stop it. It's the Ohrangers. Let's get into the song. And
Hooray!
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
This time, no such luck. In fact, I thought when this started that I had accidentally skipped an episode.
No, I did too. Because it was so weird that just out of nowhere, yeah, they did. They just dropped an episode preview for the episode we're about to watch.
Yeah,
Guys.
it's just footage from later on in the episode.
You don't need to preview that. I'm already watching it. And you took the single moment, you took the big moment that I was waiting for. You took the thing that I wanted to see out of this episode, and you said, here, just have this part now, and then watch the end of the episode. And then I had to wait for the whole rest of the episode to actually get the giant robot.
Anyway, I think that's something we used to complain about in, Was that a Jetman thing they did a lot?
Yeah, I believe they did do that in Jetman, that they would, like, this week on Jetman, it's like, dude, we're literally sitting down to watch this episode. You don't need to do this.
Because here's the thing. It's not just a shot of the giant Robo. It is the scene where the giant robot kills the monster.
Yeah, they gave you everything. It makes no sense. But anyways.
It is as though they knew that people really wanted to watch this episode, but that they all had homework they needed to do. And so it's like, okay, we're going to give you, like...
We've got you guys.
We're going to give you the moment. And so you can sort of, like, check that off your list. And then everyone who has time can stay and watch the rest. And then everyone else go off and, like, study algebra
giant
or whatever.
robots. Like, you're good. Okay. Great job, team. Okay. So... Matt, kick us off, man. How does this episode start?
Okay, so it starts with, if you remember, we were in a sort of cliffhanger at the end of the last episode.
Yes.
The chief of staff was
Miura.
chained up. Bara Brain was throwing his niece Miko around. Not Bara Brain's niece.
Right. Chief Miura's niece. Yeah, if you don't recall, Bara Brain is a sort of like magician / telekinetic Robo, and he has sort of a cool secondary power, which is he has this like metallic orb that floats out of his head. It's kind of like in the place of one of his eyes. It sort of looks like a monocle, and it does like an electromagnetic thing, and it like yoinks a bunch of stuff to it and turns into a whole separate monster called Bara Separate.
Yes. So Bara Separate is in town, and he is destroying the town and being confronted by Yuji and Momo in their individual giant robots, the Dash Lion and the Moa Loader, while the other three O'Rangers are trying to rescue the chief. So that is where we start off.
Yeah. So they are, like Matt said, they're off trying to rescue the chief. And what is happening? Like, they show up originally in their planes, like their jet fighters, which again are not the giant robots. Like, they just literally have jets.
Yeah, Goro shows up. He's like zapping at people from the plane.
Yeah.
Shohei and Juri are like up on a cliff, and they're like pushing rocks down onto the Bara soldiers. There's like a cool like landslide moment.
Yeah, like it seemed like it would have been more effective if they also had their jets, but sure.
Maybe they were in the shop. I don't know, man.
Goro pulls my favorite move, which is where he just drops out of the sky on a motorcycle out of his jet and then just hits the ground. And Matt, I can't believe I've never noticed this before. I am fairly certain that motorcycle has a jet engine on like a jet turbine on the back of it.
Yeah,
Am I wrong
I
about
think
that?
this is the first time we sort of see the motorcycle in a very clear shot from the back, and if that's not what it is, it certainly looks like it.
Yeah, which I'm just so into the idea of this dude with the jet-powered motorcycle.
Listen, I'm into everything about Goro. Goro rules.
Yeah, Goro actually, yeah, man, I just don't know why I was about to say, actually, Goro rules pretty hard. He is rapidly, Matt, maybe we don't want to do this. Maybe this introduces a weird thing into the spirit of Super Sentai, but should we have, in addition to the Creature Royale, some sort of hero ranking?
I don't know, man. I mean, maybe, but they're all the best in their own way.
Well, okay, yeah, that's a very good point. We would just it would be a very wide list, but a very shallow one, because it would only be
like
one,
everyone is tied for first.
Right.
Because like it is very easy to get hype on Goro in an episode like this. But you need to remember that I've also been staying hype on Rio from Ohranger, because that guy also rules so hard.
Yeah, dude, Rio from Ohranger is great. Okay, so the Rangers run over, and they do manage, like, they get the chief untied from his, like, weird, like, Wrath of the Titans style, like, thing by the ocean, and they get him untied. And now this is where we see something interesting from the chief, because in all other instances, the chief has seemed like he's calm, he's cool, he's collected, but like when Mitsuko, thank you. I just like got totally tongue-tied on it. When Miku is involved, like the chief flips, like he loses his ability, it seems, to like think tactically. Because what he does is rather than sending the 3 literal superheroes that are right next to him
Right, the
to go get
superheroes
Miku.
that he built, basically.
Right.
Like, they were trained before they showed up. But like, he was like, okay, I have invented superheroes.
Yeah.
You guys
Like-
stay here. I'm going to go get the kid.
He's like, I have to get Miku. And then he just runs. Now, to the Chief's credit, like, he is pretty boss. Like, they're shooting some lasers at him. He's, like, dodging and doing some, like, forward rolls and stuff. It's not quite enough, but
No, he manages
still
to
is,
not get shot with lasers, which I think is kind of more than we expected.
Yeah, it was good. Well, I mean, I didn't expect him to. Okay, I'm actually going to disagree with you there, Matt, because the other option is he gets shot with lasers and presumably dies,
Dude,
which I did not think was going to happen.
This show's been pretty raw so far. It could have happened.
It could have happened. We've already seen them like telekinetically punch a little girl, so who knows? Maybe killing Chief Miura is on the table.
Okay, so as after this happens, the other 3 are like, no, like we have to fight the Bara soldiers. So they
It's
run
just
in,
like,
they
Chief, we're,
transform.
like, right. And what's great is that they are trying to convince the Chief of this as it's happening. They're like, no, Chief, like, we're cool. Like, we've got this. You, like, we're good.
And then, so Goro grabs the Chief while the other 2 stay to fight the Bara soldiers. They run over and they just get in, like, a Jeep, which I kind of love.
There.
Because it's not like a crazy Ohranger Jeep. It's not powered by, like, a Chouriki engine. It's just Jeep.
Right. It happened to be there, and yeah. So, one of the things that okay, Matt, tell me if I'm crazy here.
I will, if you are.
Thank you. I appreciate you. The Chief is wearing eyeshadow, right?
Oh, yeah, he's wearing eyeshadow.
Okay. Is there a possible reason, or has there been any explanation whatsoever as to why this very, very serious grown-up man is wearing eyeshadow?
Well, first of all,
like, listen,
maybe that's just
I
his
just want to be
style.
clear. I was going to say, I want to be clear. Wear eyeshadow if you want. I don't care. It just seems out of character for the Chief.
Yeah, so okay, let me say 2 things on this. 1, the Chief is normally wearing sunglasses, and he might always have eyeshadow, and we just don't see.
Okay, Matt, you could stop right there, frankly.
2, I think that it is a makeup job made to make him look like haggard and gaunt from the ordeal he's been through.
Okay, that would make sense, but they definitely chose sort of like a greenish shade, which doesn't...
What's also weird is that this sort of eyeshadow we have seen in Super Sentai shows before, but it normally is there
normally
to
means
indicate
someone is evil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that they
you've
have
been, like,
been
mind
controlled
controlled.
into evil.
Which is not the Chief. The Chief is fine. He
No,
just
that
has
has
eyeshadow.
not happened even a little bit. He's just having a day.
Okay, so Goro and the Chief are like, they bust out in this Jeep, and they
at
like
this point, by the way, Bara Brain has summoned Bara Separate from the city to this part of town. Like, he was able to, like, brain teleport him here or something with his robot telepathy.
it's sort of a cool look. He sort of like turns in energy, then collapses into a ball and flies away, and then he reappears and then like reforms into Bara Separate. It's a neat look.
So Goro's got to do some, like, fancy Jeep driving to get away from just getting stepped on by this dude.
You know who else has to do some fancy work here, Matt? Is the camera/props people.
Oh, yeah.
And they do like... Okay, so first of all, I just want to say they very clearly also just have a toy Jeep with a Goro figure in it. And you can only really, really tell in like 2 of the shots. 2 out of like 6 or 7 shots that it is very obviously a toy like next to a man-sized monster. But they do some great cuts where like the Jeep will fly by Bara Separate and then they'll like smash cut and you'll see Goro in the actual Jeep as though he has just done whatever the toy Jeep did. It's great, but it is also hilarious because they clearly just got like a first run of the Goro toy.
Dude, that's the thing. I have quoted this before and I still do not remember who said it originally. But one of the great things about the Super Sentai shows is that since all of the stuff in the show looks like toys, all of the toys can look exactly like the stuff in the show.
Yeah, that
and
is
so
pretty...
it's really good for situations like this where you just like need a quick prop. That might have been something that old Comics Alliance person and now like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles writer Caleb Goldner said.
I didn't know that dude was writing. I didn't know that guy was writing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool for him. That's really neat.
That might have been that. It was either that or Chris Sims, but I think Sims was maybe quoting him. Anyway, this has sort of gone way too far into a well-meaning but kind of floundering hole.
So anyways, they managed to like get away from Bara Separate, basically. It like there's no super great explanation other than maybe like just Goro is a very good driver.
Hey man, he's good at everything. He's Goro.
He is super good at it. Like, I mean, but like literally, it just seems as though they are getting menaced one moment, and then the next shot, they're just good in the woods. So what happens is the chief is like, they stop for a moment. Like they're like, okay, cool, we're safe for a second. Chief hops out and he's like, listen, we need to, like, I need to go back and get Miku. Like,
thank you very much for saving me, but like, we definitely have to go back.
Yeah, and Goro's like, no, Chief. Like, they've got it. Like, they're good. Like, they can get Miku. We need to get you to safety.
Yeah, like, you're the one they actually want. She was the bait.
Right. And also, you're the only one who knows how to complete the 3 remaining, just the Chouriki robots, right, is what they're calling them?
They're called the Chouriki mobiles.
Thank you. He's like, you're the only one who knows how to finish the Chouriki mobiles, and those are vital to defense of the whole Earth.
Right. And so the chief is like, listen, I know that maybe I said that, but the blueprints for the last 3 are definitely on my computer. If you just go back to HQ, like, you guys can probably figure out how to put the finishing touches on these dudes.
Right. And Goro's like, ooh, really? Like, that doesn't seem likely. He's like, no. Like, believe in yourselves. Like, you can do it. You have, like, what we have on Baranoia is, like, the power of our friendship and like comradeship. And if you just rely on your comrades, like, you will be able to do this thing.
Yeah, you can't do everything alone, but with comrades you can. And you have wonderful comrades, the Ohrangers.
Which is
it's a nice stirring moment.
Yeah. So Goro's like, well, okay, that still seems weird, but sure. So
as they're finishing up this conversation, Shohei and Juri show up, like, still fighting the Bara soldiers. Like, theirs had sort of been fighting their whole way there. And Chief is like, okay, time for me to be the bait again.
Good, but they've got Miku. They have managed to rescue Miku. So they've got Miku, and Chief is like, okay, you guys run. They'll go after me, which is definitely what they do. So, like, the Chief just runs with his, like, frail human legs.
He doesn't even take the Jeep.
Yeah, which... okay. Again, I think we've already established that the Chief sort of loses some of his cool tactical prowess when Miku is involved.
Yeah.
So he books it. Oh, he does say one thing. Sorry, there's something we forgot. Because he's talking to Goro, and he's like, I keep thinking back to that day when Miku's dad died. And he said, if only there had been someone else, like one other person with me, we would have been able to save everybody. And so, like, he still feels super guilty about this thing, but also it's like a stirring teamwork. Like, if you work together, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So the next scene we see is the Rangers, I guess, have, rather than, like, take Miku with one person and send the other 2 superheroes to rescue the Chief, they just took Miku back to base.
Yeah.
So...
Hey, listen, that'll be where she'll be safest, probably. I mean, it's not like she's going to, like, go home to her dad's house. And so far as we can be told, like, maybe she doesn't have a mom?
Dude.
Listen.
So she's at base, which is the safest spot. And the Rangers they're looking through, I guess, what is, like, the Chief's, like, supercomputer, and they see the blueprints.
And they're sort of baffled. They're like, these are definitely the blueprints. I do not know what they mean.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they're like, well, we're not really, like, we don't know what to do. But, and then one of them looks at it, I can't remember who, and they say, like, oh, it's a combining robot.
And they all get very excited about this.
Yeah, they're super excited. Now, that means one of 2 things.
I wonder if the Chief had told them that it was a combining robot.
I get the impression that he did not. Here's what I hope is that in the world of, because we've never had the Rangers have a reaction like this, like, oh my gosh, it's a combining robot, that's so cool. So what I'm hoping for is that in this universe, like, these guys have seen like a Sentai-ish show, and that their giant robot is an example of sort of like not retrofuturism, Matt, but what's it called when like the actual future is based on like an old person's interpretation of what the future would look like in the future?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Is that not retrofuturism?
I don't think so. I think retrofuturism is when, I think like Fallout 4 is sort of retrofuturism.
Oh, like a future in the past, not like past future in the future. Yeah.
But like whatever this thing is, it's like somebody saw Star Wars and then they invented a lightsaber because they saw Star Wars. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that the Rangers are in that situation and that this is their lightsaber. They're like, I remember this in comics when I was a kid. What?
Yeah, like they didn't get any of the like Super Sentai shows, but they did get Japanese Spider-Man, and they all grew up loving King Leopardon.
So like, what are we gonna do though? Because like we can't, like we don't know what to, like we don't know what to do with these blueprints, and they're like, well, we've got to figure out something.
Yeah, because like they sound like they are sort of giving up hope. And one of them, I think Jury, is like, yeah, I don't think we can do this and save the chief. And then they all look over at Miko, who's just sitting there, like, starting to cry. And like,
she stands up. She stands up and looks at them.
Like, no, it's cool. We can do it. Let's just go build some robots and beat the monster. We got this, kid. Don't worry. Don't listen to what we said before. We were overreacting.
I was gonna say, Santa's real. Everything's cool. Like, it's great. So... so then we go into a genuinely baffling montage.
Well, first, Dave, there is a brief moment where Acha and Kocha are flying around town.
Oh, yeah, thank you for that. Sorry,
and they're
I totally
just
forgot.
like reading out of a megaphone as they're flying one of the octopus fighters, which I feel like we have to start calling them now because they do start.
Yeah, they did. They gave us the name. They're octopus fighters.
So Acha and Kocha are flying around on this octopus fighter, and they're like, "Hey, listen, we've got the chief. There's no way you can beat us unless you surrender. Unless the Ohrangers come and surrender within 1 hour, we're going to kill the chief, and then we're going to destroy the Earth."
Specifically, well, they're going to say we're going to level Tokyo, and then, like, sort of in so doing, we will, like, demonstrate that we've won, I guess. So the Rangers see this message, and they're just like, oh, well, geez, all right. Well, guys, we have an hour. That is how long we have to finish these incredible robots. So then comes the truly baffling montage, which is the Rangers themselves finishing these incredibly complex technological wonders based on an ancient super civilization. Now, we've seen this at least once before, Matt. We saw this in Jetman.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't make any sense there either, but at least in Jetman, there was a sort of story explanation because everybody that was supposed to be working for Jetman had died in, like, the initial Vyram attack.
Yeah, so there weren't, like, the engineers around. But here, like, there are engineers there. Like, there are people helping them work on it. But for some reason, these 5 dinguses are just like, maybe try connecting that thing to that thing.
Yeah, like, they're literally they don't even do, like, a great job.
It's like they're trying to put together a jigsaw puzzle, but they're not very good at puzzles.
Yeah, you just see them, they're sort of, like, vaguely poking at electronics, and I think Shohei has, like, some goggles on, and they've got a little, like, soot on them. So they're really trying to sell the idea that like they're doing, but like why are they having them do it? It makes no sense.
I don't know, man. Now, what we do see during this montage as well is we keep cutting back to Bara Separate, who is like out destroying the towns.
Yes.
And clocks that are counting down the 1 hour.
Yeah.
The chief is thinking of them all. Like, you know, he's like, oh, Goro. And then it shows like some scenes of Goro. And then it goes through all of them. And at the end, he's like, if you all combine your talents, Like, you'll never lose to the paranoia. Go team. But he's just like chained to a big cog in a field. He's just like shouting to no one.
I do love that they chained him to a giant cog. I thought that was a nice touch. So we see the chief, and they are like counting down. Like the Bara soldiers are literally like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, that's it. That's the hour. Like,
yeah. Empress Hysteria and Prince Bulldont like beam down from space.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, so I guess they're not here. It's time to kill this dude.
This is the amazing part. Is they're like, well, we've clearly like we're gonna flatten Tokyo, and we are gonna take over the world. Also, we do need to kill this dude, though. Like, it's clear that they don't actually even care about at this point. They're so assured of their victory, they don't even care about killing the chief. It's literally just like, we're machines, and we said we were going to do it, and so we have to do it now.
Right. Empress Hysteria pulls out what is just like, I mean, that's like a fancy science thing, but it's just kind of a big pistol and holds it to the chief's head.
Yeah.
And like the non-fanciness of the gun really made the scene look a lot more stark. In a way.
Like if she had pulled out, like if she had like put her hand out toward him and like a glowy thing had appeared around her hand and she was got energy blasted, it wouldn't have been that serious. The fact that she just busts out like a sidearm and is gonna blow this dude's brains out the back of his head, like
it's a little rough. It's a bit raw.
It's kind of raw, man. So right as this is about to happen, though, explosions. There's some quick explosions that manage to not hurt the chief. Hooray.
So the chief looks up, and he sees all 5 Chouriki mobiles coming towards him.
Hooray!
And he looks happy, but he also looks like 15% surprised.
Yeah, like he genuinely was not sure that they were going to get it done.
I'm so glad this worked.
But yeah, just like I didn't expect that at all, but I'm stoked. So then the fight is really joined, and
let's introduce our 5 individual Chouriki mobiles.
Yeah, okay. So Chouriki Red is Sky Phoenix.
Yes.
And it is just like, it's a big phoenix. And now what is cool about it is, I think, is that it doesn't look too robotic. It has it has a more organic feel, which is neat, and is much smaller than I thought it was. Like, I assumed that this thing was giant. It's about the size of a plane, it seemed, and not even like a large fighter jet. Because we're going to see Goro actually hop up out of the cockpit and like stand on it. And I'll just tell you the moment now because I'm so excited about it. He's going to jump up on the cockpit as he is like flying towards an octopus fighter, and he's going to pull out Star Riser, and as he's flying straight towards this thing, he does like a giant slash and cuts it in half, and then flies through the middle.
Good. As there's like a fire explosion behind him.
Yeah,
like, by the way, there's nothing that he blew up to cause that explosion. He's just in like a Phoenix robot, and sometimes there's a lot of fire.
It's totally rad. So we have Sky Phoenix.
Yes, and as we met last week, there is a Dash Lion, the sort of sphinxy-looking dude.
Yeah, and Moa Loader.
Right, and Moa Loader is the very vaguely Easter Island
Island statue. Yeah, and it sort of looks like a Dalek. So here are the 3 remaining ones that we hadn't seen yet. Is Grand Taurus, which is a giant bull.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then Sky Phoenix, of course. And then what's the last one called, Matt?
Dave, the last one is the Dogu Lander.
Thank you, Dogu Lander.
Now, the Dogu Lander, this is something I had to look up because it is not a sort of cultural thing that I was originally familiar with, in the same way that I was familiar with like the Easter Island statues and a Sphinx, is that there are these like very old statues from the Jomon period in Japan.
Oh, we talked about this briefly, right?
I think we talked about this when we watched this equivalent episode of Power Rangers Zeo when we were on Ranger.
Okay, thank you.
So these are sort of like, those old statues that are like the Venus of whatever, and it's like a very sort of like rounded feminine figure with like a basket on her head.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's sort of like that, like a prehistoric like woman statue. But there was one specifically called the Shikoki Dogu.
Okay.
That is what this one sort of looks like, which is like that statue wearing like Captain Cold sunglasses, basically.
Ah, rad. Okay, neat.
So it's like when I first saw it, it looked like a very abstracted shape. But when you look up one of those things, it's like, oh yeah, like it is
Like
kind of
there
that
it is.
thing,
It's right there.
but
Nice.
also a giant robot with cannons. Which is an important addition.
Yeah. So at first, they are sort of fighting Bara Separate, but they also, the Baranoia has called in additional soldiers. So there's like a bunch of octopus fighters around. There's just some like standard Bara soldiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just some standard Bara soldiers. And the Chouriki mobiles are going to town on these things.
My favorite is the Grand Taurus.
Oh,
because
yeah.
like it just like they set it up so that there are like little miniature octopus fighters next to this like still miniature but not as small as the other one, like figure of the Grand Taurus. And I think they must have just had the octopus fighters on like little like fishing wire, basically. And then the Grand Taurus just rams through all of them, and they get like splatted on his front like flies on a windshield. It's super good.
Yeah, it's great. Dash Line is just like biting octopus fighters all up. So at first, it's going really, really well for the Ohrangers. These sort of like low grade enemies do not stand a chance against the Chouriki mobiles. Then Bara Separate really gets in the fight. He does a cool attack where he's got like kind of a big star on his back for reasons I don't understand, but he does. And he sort of leans over, and the top point of his star turns into energy and then like launches off like a giant energy boomerang. And that's neat. And then he also...
Bara Brain is in an octopus fighter, and he is shooting out like smoke and fire out of it to sort of make it so Sky Phoenix can't see where he's going. So Sky Phoenix actually just like rams into some high tension wire and gets like caught in them, which is kind of hilarious to see him just like dangling from these power lines.
Yeah. So then he turns into not Bara Brain, Bara Separate, turns into like just like a giant metal sphere. And he just kind of cannonballs around for a little bit, and that for some reason is super effective.
That's a very large cannonball.
It is very large. So at this point, the Rangers are actually kind of on the ropes. Once he gets them there, Bara Separate, he like hovers up into the air and then somehow sets himself ablaze, like Human Torch style. And then he's like hovering above. Yeah, he's hovering above the Rangers.
And it's like he's going to come crashing down like a meteor, basically.
Yeah. Now, when this happens, we get like a quick voiceover from the chief who's like, "Oh, Rangers, like, remember your powers," or something like that. And we get individual shots of the Ohrangers who are all like cowering in fear, like, "Oh my gosh, this is it. What are we going to do?" Guys.
We cut over to Miko. Miko says, "Please God, save the Ohrangers."
Yeah, which is a little bit odd.
Hey man, just it's not that odd.
So the Rangers are like, they're like, "Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? We're going to lose, etc." They already know that this is a combining robot.
Yeah.
They know this thing for a fact.
They do. I mean,
so
they did see the blueprints.
They literally
ago.
Right, like they literally just finished building this thing. So
But they're very distracted, and apparently they need a reminder that this is a combining robot. And they get a heck of a reminder, which is that we cut to like the monument in the basement of the Ohranger base.
This is amazing.
They all glow, and colored lasers shoot out of them into the sky.
Well, they all shoot into the pyramid, and then it shoots out of the top of the pyramid into the sky.
True. That is a important detail, and I'm sorry that I missed it out.
It's okay. We're in it together.
A giant wave crashes into the shore.
Yep.
The earth cracks open. There's magma. There's just some stock
volcano.
footage of magma.
Yep.
Birds are flying crazy out of the trees. All of nature is coming together to remind the Ohrangers, hey, idiot, it's a big robot.
It's a giant combiney robot. So then Goro is he's in the cockpit, and he looks and he says oh wait, guys, if we combine our energy, we can combine the robots. And he looks down, and in his hand is the storage crystal, which is apparently the key to get the robots to combine. He's holding it already, and then he has the realization that they can combine. Which okay, I don't know how they were going to build the tension of this moment, but I just wish they would have put some thought into he can do maybe he has the realization, and then something glows and a panel pops open, and there's the storage crystal, and he's and there's a voiceover, and the chief is use the storage crystal, Luke, or something like that. I don't care, but they all do, and then they're all just oh yeah, right, storage crystal, and then they'll go storage crystal, oh pink storage crystal, and then they do the thing.
Yeah,
so they all put the storage crystal
into
in there.
the prominent slot in their dashboards
that is storage crystal shaped, and then we get the big combination,
which is great. It's a little more. What would you liken this one to? This one feels very much like a classic Megazord. Each leg is a separate one. Mm-hmm. One of them is a torso, one of them is the arms, and one of them is the head.
Yeah, it's actually almost exactly the Zyuranger configuration in that way. It's a cool looking robot. It's no Dyrano. Let's just say that.
No, it's no Dyrano, and honestly, I don't like it as much as Moteki Shogun.
Yeah. But it's a pretty cool robot. I think it looks cooler than Jet Icarus. I'll say that much at least.
Jet Icarus. It does not necessarily look cooler than Jet Hawken, but
no,
I'm sorry.
I don't think it does.
Wingardia. Wait, was that?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You think so?
The one with the bird
so
face.
anyways.
The cool one with the bird face
yeah,
that was
I'm
awesome. Yeah.
So they turn into, and what's the name of it again, Matt?
It's just Chouriki Robo.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'll cop to that one. That was my bad. Yeah, so it's Chouriki Robo, and its sword is called Crown Sword, and it is basic. It's it looks like a Roman gladius, kind of, but it's got a big crown on the bottom, which is kind of neat.
Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention when the robots were coming together is once they all sort of form into the body, we cut to a scene of the inside where all 5 of the Ohrangers, their seats are on tracks that all slide into place to bring them all into the cockpit. It's very good.
You know what it is, Matt? It's classic Voltron.
Oh yeah, it's very classic Voltron.
Yeah, it's almost exactly, but it looks very, very cool. So they're all in the cockpit together, which is rad, and they they just romper stomper. Bara Separate, you can tell, is not prepared for this level of conflict.
Right, he gets hit with the sword and he goes down and all of his bits fall off of them. He gets it back up because something that he can do is, since all of that stuff is just stuff that has been attracted to him and configured into a giant robot, he the giant orb that is his core lifts up and starts to draw those pieces back in. But the Ohrangers are oh, no. We're not dealing with this.
Yeah, so they're oh, we need to get rid of that. There's not actually a whole lot of drama behind it. They're oh, we need to get rid of that orb or he'll reform. Cool. And then they do their super power slash, and then that's the end of the orb.
It is the Crown Final Crash.
Thank you. So they don't, Bara Separate doesn't get through another round of reforming and fighting. They just notice it immediately and solve that problem.
Yeah, and that is the scene that we saw in the very beginning of this episode.
Yeah. And then, so that's it for Bara Separate. And then when Bara Separate dies, Bara Brain also flips out.
Yeah, he like falls over and explodes because those two dudes are like one and the same, basically.
Yeah. So that is the, and then the other monsters just, Queen Hysteria and Worst Prince just sort of teleport away to fight another day, I guess.
Yeah. So they go down, they get the chief out of his chains. Miko shows up because apparently she was just like standing around near this scene of complete devastation.
Yeah, that doesn't seem appropriate for a child, but whatever.
And there's a happy reunion and everything is cool.
Yeah. So they ask the chief, they're like, what was going on with that Chouriki energy? Because like we didn't trigger it and you didn't trigger it. So like what's up? And what we find out, now this is speculation on the chief's part. He's not super clear on this. But what we find out is that Chouriki is basically the Force.
Yeah. I definitely have in my notes, so I guess the Ohrangers are Jedi?
Yeah, like Chouriki is like generated by every living thing on the planet, and it's like part of the cosmos, and it's nature itself. And like, now this is actually a pretty cool idea because they're like, well, we as humans are part of nature, but Baranoia, because they're robots, are not.
Right. And so we are the like the Ohrangers are the tools that Chief Muria and this United Air Force have like put together to fight the Baranoia, but they are also sort of like the channel by which the Earth is protecting itself.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. Now, the Chouriki Robos are also robots, but I guess they're like built in line with like the principles of Chouriki, so like they're cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's
not necessarily that the Baranoia are robots, but that the Baranoia are from space. Like they are not of Earth.
Oh, maybe that's it. Anyways, I think it's a really cool, it's a fun take, and it's a fun way to set up like this is why, this is why the Rangers are special, and this is why, this is why these things sort of work in these particular ways.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And that is the end of that episode.
Yeah.
But Dave, it's not the end of our episode.
It's not.
Because we now need to determine where Bara Brain / Bara Separate would fare in the Creature Royale.
Okay, well, here's the first question I think we need to answer is, do we rank them separately?
No, I think we got to rank them together.
Okay, that's what I was going to say as well.
Like
because
they are like connected in such a way that like when Bara Separate dies, Bara Brain also explodes.
Yeah, I agree totally. So first things first, I think they both actually have pretty cool looks.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's neat. They are in a two-parter, and they are the monster catalyst for the appearance of the giant robot, which I think is all marks in their favor.
Yes.
Now, it's not core, obviously. That's all sort of like secondary to them, or at least being in the giant robot episode is. So, I'm going to be honest, man. I'm not looking super high on the list.
Now, when you were saying that, are you thinking more of Bara Separate, or are you thinking of Bara Brain? Because Bara Separate's just like a big dude with stuff.
No, that's fair.
Bara
if I am
Brain,
thinking Bara Separate, he's...
Yeah, because Bara Brain's got both Bara Psychic and Bara Telepathy. I don't know if you forgot about that.
Matt, I got to be honest, I did. Bara Psychic. Oh, that's pretty great.
Bara Telepathy.
So, Matt,
okay, so
let's just start narrowing this down. Top half, bottom half.
Well, okay, Bara vanishes at number 67.
Yes.
And I think that's not our highest. Okay, so Bara...
Oh, no. Our highest is in the top 20, man.
Yeah.
Bara Cactus 2 are slot number 20.
And Bara Crusher is at number 40.
Yeah.
So somewhere between 20 and 40, I think. Because I like Bara Brain more than I like Bara Crusher.
Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Maybe not a lot more.
I was going to say, man, I'm going to be honest, Matt. Right above Bara Crusher is Omukade, the football centipede.
That is also sometimes Santa Claus.
that is also sometimes Santa Claus. And then we've got Bimbogami and Sauragami the Ninja Monkey. And then Meteor Bam, Iron Mask Choryu, Lipstick Songstress.
Okay,
I
but
don't know that-
under Barra Crusher is Light Armadillo, and I definitely like Barra Brain more than I like Light Armadillo.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. What I'm saying is I think Barra Crusher, or I think Barra Brain might come in literally one slot above Barra Crusher.
I'm comfortable with that. So he would become our new number 40?
Yep. And that, Matt, is going to do it for us, I think.
Yep, that is going to do it for another episode of For Your Eyes Ohranger. Before we finish up here, I'd like to remind you all you can email the show at supersentaibrothers@gmail.com. If you want to get any updates on future episodes or check out the things that we're talking about on Twitter, we are at Super Sentai Bros. If you like the show, please remember, shining in the iTunes review section, there are 5 stars. Give us a rate and review on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or wherever you get the show. That's what's going to help new people find it. Or so we have been led to believe. Super Sentai Brothers are a production of Retrograde Orbit Radio. To listen to any of the other great Retrograde Orbit Radio shows, you can do so at retrogradeorbitradio.com or wherever you find your podcasts. Once again, we are the Super Sentai Brothers. I'm Matt.
I'm Dave.
And we'll see you next week for the greatest show on Earth.
Ole! Ole! Ole!